This is Dabu 7. We have the Air Force deploying the nuclear Doomsday plane to join Andrews, and this happened here this week, and this is fueling speculation of a potential U.S. role in this Israel-Iran crisis. Now, the E-4B Night Watch landed in the area, and then people seeing this speculation started to grow, and it gave off a different signal as well. When doing its normal operations, it uses Order 6. Instead, this time it used Order 01, which may seem minute, but when things change in this degree, it could signal things going live, not just a drill. The last time that this was used, notably, was on September 11th of 2001. This E-4B Doomsday plane is a militarized Boeing 747. It serves as the National Airborne Operations Center, and it's a key component of our National Military Command System for the President, the Secretary of Defense, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In a national emergency or loss of ground command, the aircraft provides as a highly survivable command, so to speak, in the air. It's got command, control, communications over the U.S. It can initiate war orders. And they say that it's hardened here. They say it can remain airborne for an extended period of time, capable of refueling mid-air, protected against EMPs, and capable of surviving a nuclear blast. The plane is equipped with advanced satellite communications, shielding technologies, and can accommodate more than 100 people. They say, in case of a national emergency or destruction on the ground, this will be used. Again, the timing, the fact that it's being moved there, some could say, well, they're flexing for sure. They're definitely flexing by doing this, but are they getting it ready for something? I told you, something huge is about to happen here in this country. I call it the economic 9/11. The next massive event's about to happen. With these signs going into motion, man, I would not ignore them. Because everything is in place for something to go down. Just be aware of your surroundings. And join me for the live streams going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I talk about this in greater detail. I hope to see you guys there.
Second Ezra, chapter 7, verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. I want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory unto my Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught us His truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Those of you making a living sacrifice, making your bodies a living sacrifice in these last days and giving up an offering of your time, of your mental fortitude up to Yahweh Shai, and even your carnal substances up to Yahweh Shai. That all encompasses giving your body as a living sacrifice unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, okay? And previously to my response to the video that was played by Dabu 7, there's a Doomsday plane circling, and has been overhead the United States, and that's leading some people to believe that there's going to be a major catastrophic event that's going to take place on American soils. There's rumors of attacks that are going to happen on American soil that's going to push America fully into the war. Okay, push America into fully aligning themselves with Israel and being their defense. Okay, as we know how prophecy says, America would be dragged in to the war, man. Okay, the least of the flock shall draw them out, as it says in Ezekiel, or I'll say Jeremiah, the 49th chapter, I believe. Okay, let's actually go there. This is Jeremiah 49:20. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." So you see, the least of the flock, that being the nation of Israel, is going to draw America out. Okay, they're going to be drawn out against the nation of Iran, okay, and also Russia. China is going to turn into a major conflict over there. Okay, the scriptures say that this man will be led out into Saudi Arabia. All right. Land desolate, and he's gonna make himself fully at war. But before that happens, we still are waiting on a prophecy of the microchip being implemented and made mandatory worldwide, which beforehand there's going to be a catastrophic event that's going to destroy the infrastructure, destroy the financial system, and it's going to push and galvanize the people and persuade them by force to take heed in getting the chip. It's going to be the answer, okay? And a sign of that is what we see here with this Doomsday plane, okay? Now let's read an article on New York Post, okay, that was published on June the 18th. It says, U.S. E-4B Doomsday plane makes unexpected flight to D.C. as Trump weighs Iran strike. Okay, so Doomsday plane, which let's ask Chat GPT, what's the significance of this so-called Doomsday plane? Now, as Dabu 7 went over in his video, which I'll restate here just for talking points, right, and bringing up scriptures. We'll go over what this Doomsday plane, what it specializes in. Okay. Now, it says the E-4B Night Watch U.S. Air Force is a modified Boeing 747-200. Serves as the National Airborne Operations Center. It's designed to withstand nuclear EMPs or electromagnetic pulses. capable of mid-air refueling and can stay airborne for days. Onboard systems allow President, Secretary of Defense, Joint Chiefs to communicate with nuclear forces. So yeah, they can call plays from this Doomsday plane while avoiding all kind of catastrophes on the soil, okay, on the ground, making them to some degree, immune to initial conflicts, okay, and being able to readjust and move, all right. And this is just part of this man's blessing, okay. While he's sharpening the sword for a lot of Jake, man, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and even just the inhabitants upon the earth, man, because the whole world is going to be in turmoil, all right. And it's going to be the America is the center of the stage, right? As he's doing this just shows you how he's the devil, man, how he's Esau. This is Esau we're talking about. Now, this is Obadiah, man. This is Obadiah 1 and 4. It says, or matter of fact, let's read verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, right? And these are all visions, right? The prophets were given visions, all right? They were known as seers, all right? They were known as seers to be able to foretell what was going to happen. And right now, the seers are proclaiming and foretelling you people that America is about to be destroyed, man. America is facing a major problem. And it's just going unaddressed right now. People are acting like things are just normal. Right? It's not normal for the cost of living to be, 30% higher than it was 5 years ago. That's not normal. It's not normal for your taxes to be going up, right? The property taxes to be going up at the rate that they are. It's not normal for loans to be it's hard to get. It's not normal for places to not be open for 24 hours. Like you have Walmart, which is not even 24 hours no more. You have McDonald's that is not 24 hours no more. Those were the glory days of America. But see, the doors in the streets are closed. So the seers are telling you what's about to come, but yet, see, people are normalized. They have normalized this. They have normalized this this decline that's happening right in front of our eyes. All because they're comfortable. But see, those comforts are soon to be taken away. That's what the seers are proclaiming. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord, concerning Edom. See, this message concerns Edom. He's a main character, if you will. All right, next to Jacob, next to the Israelites. All right, and that's this man, Esau, Edom. All right, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the rulers that are in power today. It says, we have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and stand up. Let us rise. It says, arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Yeah. See, the heathen are now arranging themselves to rise up against Esau, Edom in battle, in warfare. Okay, it talks about that in Joel, the 3rd chapter, how those nations would then turn their their farming equipment, their farming tools, into warfare tools, right? And we see that happening now. Trump is in the news talking about how Iran cannot have a nuclear missile, right? Why? Because that's Esau's blessing. He's saying, hey, this is my blessing. Why is it that you get to have part in my blessing? Well, see, the Lord has it and has been strategically placing that weaponry in the enemy's hands for your destruction, as the scriptures say in Isaiah the 54th chapter, how, this is the instrument for the Lord's indignation, okay? And that's mainly against Esau, Edom. You see? It says, verse 2, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised, right? And everybody is seeing the shame of the Edomites. Everybody is seeing the shame of and how greedy, right? Amalek, right? Which those are those ones in the land today, which are not the biblical Israelites. Okay, those, the Ish people, right? They are not the biblical Israelites, right? We know this. They are being despised among the heathen. They're seeing how they're treating Iran. They're seeing how they're just having no mercy upon them. They're calling out for ultimately total genocide against them. And in America, you have Esau backing them, right? You have Esau backing that thought process. And a lot of America is starting to see the shame. Okay, that history is being brought back up. All right, that background report is looking true. Right, his rust is not all the way wiped up. It says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" And that is a representation of this doomsday plane that we see up in the air. Esau, Edom flying high in attempt to secure himself from an attack. Right? But we know how this is all going to end. Alright, this is just a sign of things to come and that doom that is soon to take place. Okay? Now let's read a little bit of this article. It says, US E-4B Doomsday plane makes unexpected flight to DC as Trump weighs Iran strike. And we know what's going to be the outcome. Ultimately, this thing could cool down and we have some time of quote-unquote peace. But we know this is all going to lead to a climax to World War III eventually, whether that be a month from now, 4 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 24 months from now. When that day comes, I'll say this, there will be a day when World War III is declared, and just as the scriptures prophesy, it's how it's gonna take place. Okay? It says, one of America's doomsday planes made a flight to Joint Base Andrews in Washington, D.C. Tuesday night as President Trump weighs whether to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Okay? And, you have a lot of people that are calling outside of this thing, calling, not saying that we're wrong on certain topics, right? Like this man, Donald Trump, isn't an Edomite, right? That are only Edomites are in Israel, right? Those are the biblical Edomites, right? Like this dude, Truth Unedited. No, man, you sadly mistaken. The so-called majority of white people are not Japhet, man. Majority of white people, quote-unquote, so-called white people, are Edomites. Okay, which this is not a colored thing, but majority, you do have people that look so-called white and they are Israelites, but majority of white people are Edomites. Okay, and that goes for them Russians as well, and that goes for a lot of you Americans. All right, a lot of Europeans, if you will. All right, white is a social construct. in the ancient world, families and ethnicity was regarded as being where your forefathers were from. Okay, that's how you calculated lineage, was through the father. You see, but this man, he speaks of peace, but we know what's in his heart. It's clear. This man is thinking about, if he's gonna bomb Israel or retaliate against them. But even if he says he won't, we know what's gonna happen. He's gonna break his contract. He's gonna eventually go back on his word. Let's get that. This is Psalms chapter 55, verse 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Yeah, see, his words, his treaties, it's smooth. It sounds good. But it says, but war was in his heart. Yeah, but see, war was in his heart, in his mind. That's constantly what he's meditating on. How to usurp certain nations and extract resources. That's how this nation was established. And we know that those that live by the sword will also die by the sword. So see, the Lord has put you in a chokehold, man, and giving you a false divination. You're seeking this AI, looking through this scrying mirror, asking it if to run simulations where you think you can come out with a way to win. But see, the Lord has you caught up, man, and it's time for this kingdom, it's time for this society to fall. And the men of the Lord were right. So Israel, you need to repent. All right, there's judgment in the air, and a lot of things are about to change in your daily life. Okay, because of this conflict, we can see gas prices rise up. I believe. I heard a statistic. I got to look more into it, but I believe within the past couple weeks, gas prices have risen 20%, if I'm not mistaken, a barrel. Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Y'all bear with me. Okay, so this is just an article I pulled up real quickly from 2 days ago, same day as this plane being spotted. Okay, June 18th, right? It's June. This is from ABC News. It says Israel-Iran conflict expected to hike U.S. gas prices. Experts say here's how much. Our U.S. oil prices hovered near a 5-month high on Wednesday as President Donald Trump weighed direct involvement in support of Israeli strikes on Iran, making it all but certain that gasoline prices would rise for Americans within days. Industry analysis told ABC News. The U.S. West Texas Intermediate future price, a key measure of U.S. oil prices, has surged more than 20% in June as tensions began between Iran and Israel have boiled over into an exchange of missile attacks. See, 20% up in gas prices in June. All right. It's June. It's getting hot, man. All right. It's getting hot. So look, we about to see things drastically take a change in the States. Okay. We're about to see comfort taken away. And all of this is to help this crashing economy, by the way. Already a failing economy. Because all the money is being moved to war. All the money is being shifted. All the investments are being shifted to war. The nations are gearing up for war. Right? That's why in Joel, I'm going to say it again. I quoted it one time and I'm going to say it again. When the scriptures say to turn your plowshares into pruning hooks, yeah, of course, start manufacturing weapons. But see, that's an investment. You're investing less in food, less in goods, and more into war and defense. You see? That's what America is doing, man. That's what these nations are doing. They're preparing for war. And all of this, essentially, is it's inevitable. And these kings, they know it. They know war is inevitable. But what they need to do is they're trying to buy time. Buy time to gear up, to get prepared, to prepare the country for war. So that's where we at right now, man. That's where we at with it. That's where we at with it, man. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. Right? And these epistles, these virtual epistles, these, when we go out and teach on the street corners, these are reminders to seek the Lord while he may be found. To remember yourself. Call back to remembrance your past transgressions. To call back to remembrance your shortcomings. To call back to remembrance the things that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has done upon the earth. And the past judgments that he's made. Okay, we meditate upon what the Lord did in Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, how that was left as an ensample of how not to live in a society. And what happens to a society that takes part in that uses that blueprint. All right, we have an example of the pre-Diluvian world. All right, the pre-flood world. Right, that's just a fancy word for saying pre-flood. Okay, before the flood, how was the world? Well, it was in rioting and excess. All right, the hearts of man were haughty. They were stout. And what happens as a result of that? Destruction. Okay? So yeah, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Yeah, and these days are about to be very unpleasurable. Okay, these months to come. Now there's talks of a military draft. People are getting scared. Our women are getting a little more feminine. About 1%, right? 0.5%. Right? Because these things are now being seen. All right? There's only a matter of time before our reality becomes your reality. You people didn't get that? Right. You thought about just closing your ears up, closing your eyes up, neglecting it, that it wouldn't happen? Sadly mistaken. It says, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And that's going to be the climax of this thing, when this place is bombarded with missiles, bombarded, if you will. All right. That's what we waiting on, man. And that's nearer than a lot of people think. All right, right now, World War III is a joke to a lot of people, man. But see, it's in the works. It's in the works. And only the elect is going to be preserved. Right? That's why I brought this scripture out. For us to have this ministry, for us to have this spirit upon us, well, this is what we've been preparing for. This is what the Lord has been putting the trials and tribulations in our life to be ready for. You know, we're here, but the Lord is with us. He's not with them, right? There'd be more of us. There'd be more of us, and there'd be more around us than them. Okay, so I'm gonna read verse 3. It says, "In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened." Yeah, because there's gonna be no hope. All right, there's gonna be no economic hope. There's gonna be no military hope. Okay, no matter how much you train, you went to the paintball facility to work on your aim, and you was doing the BB gun strategic training. Getting the military reps in, all right, playing Fortnite, all those mental reps, all those carnal, strategies that you try to use to defeat what's coming. It's gonna be unprofitable. All right, and you ain't gonna be able to rely on your tax return, your job, your 401k, your investment portfolio. All that shit's gonna go in the gutter, man. It's no hope for this place. So prepare to leave. Prepare your mind, fortify your members, gird up your loins, and watch the Lord work. Shalom.